It's the 1950s. Baseball was the #1 sport. The NFL wasn't even popular yet. The Rizzler wouldn't be born till 70 plus years later, and Bob Cousy was drafted #3 overall in the 1950 NBA draft by the Tri-Cities Blackhawks, the modern day Atlanta Hawks. What's so significant about Bob Cousy getting drafted here? He would become the first great point guard drafted to the NBA. Do you know what the crazy thing is I figured out while recording this video? This motherfucker is still kicking. At 96 years old, Bob Cousy is still alive. The first point guard drafted to the NBA ever is still alive. Bob Cousy was a 6'1", 175-pound man, had insane ball handling for his time, had an innovative passing style for his time, and his playmaking ability was unreal. He revolutionized the game, and he's the archetype for almost every point guard that came after him. People were calling him the Houdini of the hardwood, which isn't that the most 1950s fucking name ever. I'm Zaza Sports. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment. But today we're going to be having an honest conversation about the point guard position, also known as the quarterback of basketball. How important is this position? Do you need a great point guard to win an NBA championship? Who's the greatest point guard of all time? All these questions will be asked and answered on this dissection of the history of the point guard position in the NBA. Now, the thing about the point guard position in the NBA is, just like the quarterback position in football, it's about the only position you'll find in basketball where the all-time greats are majority white. Hey, I'm just a messenger, nigga. Why do I say that? Because we're coming up on our next all-time great point guard, Jerry West. We're gonna send him about a decade into the future to when the LA Lakers drafted Jerry West. Still to this day one of the greatest point guards of all time. He's still top 10 in points per game all time to this day. And where Bob Cousy was known for dissecting defenses, Jerry West was a scorer. One of the first real natural scorers at the point guard position in NBA history, averaging 27 points per game for a career, 5.8 rebounds to go along with 6.7 assists per game. This nigga Jerry almost eclipsed Bob Cousy in everything, honestly. But the important thing about Jerry West is, this is where an unfair notion about the point guard position came in. The idea that you can't win a championship with a scoring guard. And not gonna lie, this had a little bit of validity, because for decades and decades of NBA history, until basically Michael Jordan came in at a shooting guard position, a score first point guard was never the best player on a championship winning team. And this mold was really not broken until much later. I'm talking half a century later, when some 6'3" skinny light-skinned man started lighting up the league. We'll get to him later. But how did Jerry West start this idea? It's the fact this nigga was 1-8 in the NBA Finals, my guy. And it took till his last season for him to even win a ring. Jerry West is still an all-time great. One of the greatest players still, one of the greatest point guards of all time. But drafted the same year as Jerry West, let me introduce y'all to Oscar Robertson, the first freak of nature at the point guard position in NBA history. He set up a complete modern approach to playmaking and facilitating on the hardwood, racking up some insane assist totals in his prime. In 4 of Oscar Robertson's first 6 years, he averaged 11 assists per game. And he almost averages 10 for a career. But that's not even where it stops, because as Jerry West was a great scorer and a good playmaker, and Bob Cousy was a good scorer and a great playmaker, Oscar Robertson had it all. He revolutionized the triple-double in his famous season where he became the first person and the last person for almost 60 plus years to average a triple-double in an NBA season. And he became the first true all-around point guard threat. Defensively, offensively, and in the passing game, Oscar Robertson's one of the greatest of all time. You can't talk about the evolution of the point guard position without mentioning the Big O. And while in the 1970s there were some great point guards, shout out George Gervin and shout out Walt Frazier, all-time great players, but the 70s was an interesting era. And here's the reasons I believe the 70s didn't have point guards that evolved the game. Pause this shit right here. Now, when I was recording this video, I already had a script written about point guard of the 70s, and I just completely forgot. And I don't know why I just went on this long-winded rant about why the 70s didn't really have any revolutionary point guards that evolved the game. They didn't have as much as previous decades, but I want to shout out this one player, Pistol Pete Maravic. Homie was a pioneer of the long-range shot, even though he played without a three-point line. His ball handling still holds up to the modern day. He added a real showmanship to the game, and his play style is simply timeless. And not to mention, in the 70s, he was one of the best scorers in the league at the point guard position and did it mostly on jump shot, averaging 24 points per game in a career that spanned from 1970 to 1980. Pistol Pete Maravic is a pioneer of the game, one of the greatest point guards of all time, was playing 30 years before his time, and the most influential point guard of the 1970s. Now I'm gonna let this dumbass keep cooking. But then you get to the 1980s. Magic mother fucking Johnson. Took what point guards before him were so good at and basically told them, I'm gonna do exactly what y'all do, unfathomably better. When it comes to Magic Johnson, he just did it better than the rest. Greatest passer in NBA history. And at 6'9", nothing less. Still averaging the most assists per game in NBA history. Winning 5 titles in his era and bringing the NBA back from the dead with, of course, his all-time rival, Larry Bird. The real true first point forward in NBA history. Standing at a height of 6'9", allowing him to post up, but still make the flashiest motherfucking passes in NBA history, and having the size and athleticism to run traditional point guard as well without even posting up. And not to mention, his bag was fucking witchcraft for the time. I'm talking alley-oops, no-look passes, a fast-paced offense that wasn't seen in the 70s, 60s, or 50s. Magic Johnson's one of the greatest of all time, arguably the greatest point guard of all time. We'll get to that later. And in modern NBA history, he is the only traditional point guard to be the best player on a championship team. I'm gonna stop this dumbass right here because I literally just straight up forgot again the person I consider to be the 3rd greatest point guard of all time. And the reason I consider him the 3rd greatest point guard of all time is because my last point right here. Now, for some reason I said Magic Johnson is the only traditional point guard to be the best player on a championship winning team. Let me introduce you to the other one. Isaiah Thomas of the Detroit Pistons. Simply one of the clutchest players of all time. He's a pass first point guard that is an all-time great scorer, especially in the clutch. But yeah, that's about it. But you can't bring up all-time great point guards without mentioning Isaiah Thomas. Let's get back to this dumbass nigga. The point guard kind of took a rest break from the 90s all the way to the 2010s. But still, let's shout out some great point guards that didn't revolutionize the game, but were still very good nonetheless. Steve Nash, an efficient beast, one of the greatest passers of all time, and he robbed Kobe Bryant. Chris Paul, a great defender, perimeter-wise, an efficient scorer, and had an MVP stolen by Kobe Bryant. Jason Kidd, all-time great passer, very efficient, and helped the 2011 Mavs win the championship. You can't hate Jason Kidd. Russell Westbrook, one of the most controversial point guards in NBA history. Hate him, love him, he's a fucking experience, and he's gonna guarantee you know that. Bringing back the triple-double craze and becoming the first player ever in 50 plus years to average a triple-double in an NBA season. He did it 4 fucking times. John Stockton, arguably the greatest passer of all time. If you look at his stats, it's damn hard to argue against it sometimes. 14.5 assists per game, NBA record. Ran one of the greatest pick and roll offenses of all time. The all-time steals leader and all-time assist leader. Shall I say more? But do you know what's the crazy thing about all these great point guards I named that came since Magic Johnson? There is one ring in between all of them, and Jason Kidd was at the twilight of his career. So basically, what I'm saying is, the greatest point guards of the last 30 years are damn near ringless. And then this motherfucker showed up. There's not a single more revolutionary player to the sport they played than Stephen Ordell Curry. You simply can't tell the story of basketball and the story of the point guard position without number 30. He's absolutely killed Ray Allen's all-time threes record. He became the first unanimous MVP. He became the first score-first point guard to be the face and the best player on an NBA dynasty. Something no point guard in NBA history has done. There's 2 teams facing each other in the NBA Finals. Indiana Pacers versus the Thunder. Their best players on each team are each young point guards. One is the traditional style point guard. He's a pass-first facilitator. He can score points, but he facilitates the fuck out of the best offense in the NBA. But the other, now he's a scorer. Jerry West, Steph Curry. He's gonna score first, he's gonna get his, and he's gonna lead his team to victory. And I don't think I've ever, in my lifetime, seen 2 teams face in the NBA Finals and their best players each were point guard. It's a credit to their position because either way, for the point guard position, one of these 2 are gonna make history. And I think I came to a little bit of a conclusion. You can't just have one singular superstar at the point guard position without having another superstar to back him up. Of course, for the 0.0001% of players, there are exceptions. But if you don't have the perfect situation, the perfect all-around team for your all-time great point guard, it makes it harder to win NBA championships than any other position in basketball. Now, let me rank the top 5 point guards of all time. I'll make this quick. Number 5, Jerry West. Number 4, Oscar Robertson. Number 3, Isaiah Thomas. Number 2, Steph Curry. Y'all are gonna hate me for that. Magic Magic Johnson went to 9 NBA Finals appearances in a 13-year career and won 5 of them. Just still more than Steph Curry, has more MVPs. So we still have Magic Johnson at number 1. And for real, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. This is a little more serious than my recent ones, but sound off in the comments. This is Zaza Sport. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all boys later. Peace.